Multitools. So today we're going to chit chat some about multi-tools. Similar to pocket knives, I have a lot of multi-tools. I'm always on that search for that perfect multi-tool. And that trend happens for a lot of the stuff that I collect. It's always trying to find that perfect one. When your grandpa was growing up, probably had a tool, something similar to this. This is the Buck Stockman. Good little knife. Nice little pocket knife. But you're probably thinking, that's not really a multi-tool. Well, it is. Each one of these knives kind of has its own purpose. They're just happen to all be sharp tools, but there are multiple tools here. This one would be good for box opening or some electrical work. A lot of electricians use sheep foot, straight blades. This one for precision cutting. Usually this one is dedicated to either, it could be, skinning small game. It's got a very upswept type thing. I usually keep this one extra sharp, so I use this one the least, then this one, and then this one I use the most, as it has the most utilitarian shape and edge geometry. But so this would really be the first kind of iteration of multi-tool that most people have experienced. But early on, Tim Leatherman came out with the Leatherman tool, which is synonymous for most multi-tools these days. So this is really the beginning of that kind of obsession, was just how many things can be in one small pocketable package. Keyword there being pocketable. So this is a good start, but where do we go? Well, if we have this many knives, why not add simple things? So then what if something like this? Now this is a true multi-tool. It's got knife, penknife, screwdriver, flatheads, right? Pocketable, has a nice Phillips head screwdriver. It's a great multi-tool, right? Well, what's it missing? Pliers. If anybody owns a home or likes to tinker around, they know that pliers are very important. So these tools have their place. They're small, they're compact, they're lightweight, but they're missing pliers. So what do you go? You could go along the lines of something like this. It has all similar tools. This is a Leatherman squirt. It's got pliers, even spring loaded. It's got a knife, right? I mean, it's chisel ground, so it's not perfect, but it cuts. It's not very big. Nice coin pocket size. Got the Gerber dime. This is the Bear Grylls version, but they're the same model. Gerber dime, more spring-loaded pliers, all outside accessible tools. Got a little knife, screwdrivers, tweezers, all fine, right? But what are you really going to do with these? I mean, these are fine for small tinkering, like I said, but you're a contractor, you're an electrician, you're a handyman. None of these are really, I mean, this one probably, I've seen some people do some amazing things with these, but this really isn't, it's not really going to do you a ton of good, right? So where do you go? You could take it up a step. This is the classic Juice S2, probably one of my most carried multi-tools of all time. Got this little pocket dangler attached to it. So we're kind of going up in scale, size, weight, but the capability, they're going up, but the actually number of tools and stuff are staying relatively the same. This does have a knife, accessible outside knife. It's got can opener, bottle opener, scissors. And then on the inside, you've got a million different variations of a flathead screwdriver. Don't know why they did so much on that. But I would say this is probably one of the most pocketable, capable multi-tools ever. I don't actually like the new versions of the Juice. The blades on them are useless, in my opinion. They need to come back out with the full-length blade. This is probably my top pick for general pocket multi-tool. It's just really, really good. Feels good in the hand. Decent weight. Capability has been crazy. I have had to repair one of the flathead screwdrivers. Came in contact with some Loctite on a screw and twisted that all up, so I had to regrind that tip. But it works perfectly fine. It's still flathead screwdriver. So that's great, but still heavy duty, no. This thing is maybe for the everyday kind of EDC, small, maybe lightweight slacks, but you're not going to a construction site with something like this and planning on doing anything serious. So take it up a notch, right? You can go with something like Leatherman Rebar. Now we're talking. Now we're talking medium duty, rather like real capable stuff here, right? I mean, you can definitely be a contractor with something like this. It's got all the goodies, saw, 3D, Phillips, all the flatheads you could ever want, file, plier with exchangeable cutters. Okay, so now we found the perfect multi-tool, right? Well, no. Some people, this may still be a small multi-tool. I think for the majority of non-contract specific, non-construction people, this is probably too big to carry. I carried this thing for a long time. I actually built a stair rail with basically just this tool and a screwdriver. So I know what this can do. Very capable multi-tool. But what if you needed just a little bit more? Here's the big daddy in the game, right? So this is the 300. So rebar versus 300. It's basically the same thing, just a couple more tools and way heavier duty. But this, you're really starting to put some extra weight on your hip. You're definitely not going to carry this in your pocket, right? So it's got all the normal tools, capabilities as the other. Maybe a couple of extra things here. A very well used file. I do use my tools, guys. I've got lots of good use on this stuff. If I had to choose kind of an end of the world multi-tool, I honestly would probably pick this. This thing it's just great. I had the Surge. So I had the Leatherman Surge, which I do not have in my collection anymore. I had the Leatherman Surge, but I had an issue where the pivots would basically self-tighten. Every time I would kind of use the pliers, it ended up getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and eventually the actual top of the screw popped off and broke. So after that happened, I just kind of decided that I was going to try something else. I got the 300. Most people like the outside accessible tools. I think there's definitely a time and a place for that. But for my money, I'm going to go with the full-on enclosed butterfly style plier. This thing is amazing. It feels good in hand, feels capable. You know you're going to get good quality on all the tools. Steel is I think it's the 420 high carbon steel on these guys. Razor sharp. I do take care of my blades, but I use them. So these are really the different types of categories, but obviously within each of these little categories are flavors, right? So this would be the core of multi-tool types. So why would you explore other options? Well, maybe blade steel. Blade steel on all of these is mediocre. I mean, you're talking 420 HC, it's probably a 440A or worse. I think all of Leatherman uses 420 HC or 440C. Swiss Army, they've got their own proprietary steel, but they're all very, they're all very soft. So what would you do? Well, really only a couple of options. You have a 154 CM blade on another Leatherman on a specialty tool. So you have the CX, right? Leatherman CX Skeletal, amazing tool, 154 CM, but pricier than the others. Great tool. Or you have to go even higher price point and get the Leatherman Charge. This is the titanium with the S30V primary blade. Right? Again, amazing multi-tool. The only downfall is this is the older one. It does not have exchangeable bit cutters, or wire cutters, but it's fine. I don't typically cut a ton of wire, and if I do, it's usually pretty small gauge soft wire, nothing super hard. So this is a fantastic multi-tool. I think if I was going to carry just a multi-tool, this would be a great option. S30V blade is great. You can't go wrong with S30V. It's hard. It'll stay sharp. It's not the easiest to sharpen, but it's wonderful. But this is like $200. This is out of a lot of people's price range. So what might you do? Well, if you want the size of this, the accessibility of this, you could go the Wave. Basically the same tool, right? These are same tools, same everything. These are going to be, this is your lower price point, still expensive these days, over $100 for this. But this is a normal 420HC blade. So same tool sets and everything primarily. A couple of small tweaks here and there. But this is a great option. This is a little lighter, but I have a pocket clip on this, so I carry it in my pocket. These are great options if you don't want to carry a separate pocket knife. I think these are blade forward knives. They do have great pliers. These pliers have been fantastic. A lot of use. Never broken a pair of these. The pliers at least. But yeah, these are fantastic if you just want to carry a multi-tool. These are blade forward. They're good. They're sharp. Good shapes. Fantastic tools. The Leatherman Charge, TTI, Leatherman Wave. This is the black version. Great, great, great multi-tools. So what else do you have? You got some oddballs, right? So what if you really wanted to do something a little odd? This is a very pocket knife style multi-tool. That looks like a full-size multi-tool, right? It's got a lock back on it. I don't even remember what one this is, but look at that. It still has a set of pliers. I carried this one for quite a while. It's got the normal, like the toothpick and stuff, just like Swiss Army. It's got tweezers, just like the Swiss Army does. It's got a couple of other tools here. You got the Phillips can opener, bottle opener, screwdriver combo. So what's wrong with this? Well, the blade steel sucks. Probably one of the softest steels I've ever seen on a multi-tool. I have carried this, I have used this. The tool steel on here is really soft. I've rounded that Phillips head off so bad it will barely catch anything number 2, Phillips number 2. This steel is so soft, you barely can open tin cans. And the pliers. You want to grab the simplest of things with this guy. Look how wide the handles are. And I don't have huge hands. I've got medium to large size hands, but look how small. I mean, completely closed. This thing is like huge. Barely get, and you want to grab a 1/4 inch or a 3/4 inch bolt or something like that. I mean, that's impossible. It's cool. I mean, it's nice. It's very smooth. The plier compound gear lever that they have is great, but that has a lot of downfalls. Steel's horrible. The quality is so-so. These are sharp as heck. I mean, it's a cool tool. It's kind of interesting. And on the same vein, you've got something like this. This is actually a Schrade, but you can find this exact multi-tool in 100 different brands. It's all white labeled. Same manufacturer and everything as the other versions. Got a nice shaped blade. Full-size plier. Spring loaded. Pocket clip. Built-in full 3D Phillips. So you've got plier. So what's so different about this? Well, the cool part about this is you have a full set of proper shears. These scissors are awesome. I bought this specifically for that. I mean, they've got a full set of plier and a full-size shear. I'm totally in. Sounds too good to be true, right? It is. pretty much the file, horrible. It's a waste of space. The blade's functional, but non-locking. Steel is soft as tin foil. These screwdrivers are fine. Both the Phillips and at the tip of the scissor or the shear handle is the flathead. Both fine. I think this is a decent kind of cheaper multi-tool. I don't even remember what, there's like a 3T01 or something like that. But it's fine. Fit and finish is okay. Everything feels good. It feels like decent quality. It's put together. It is, you can use Torx to get that off. Wire cutters are cross-cut, so they're not the anvil style. Good. Pliers are got a little bit of wiggle in them, but nothing too crazy. I would say overall the quality of this is really nice. Oh, ST11. That's it. The Schrade ST11. Quality of these, pretty nice. I actually carry these quite a bit. They've got good use on them, but having to sharpen that knife every time was just too much. I mean, this is softer than most 440A steels in super inexpensive knives. I don't even mind all that much that it's a slip joint, but man, that steel is so soft. I'd have to carry this basically just for the plier and scissors. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to pick something else, because that's a lot of tool to carry for minimal usage. So what other options do we have? So let's say you like the gear on this guy, but you want something a little bit more proper. Something a little bit more along the lines of this, but you like this gear lever. Well, SOG, they have a full-size multi-tool just for that. Definitely higher quality, much smoother. Fit and finish feels quite a bit better. Proper pliers. You're still going to have that same issue with needing to have super wide grips to get anything substantial, but they're better. You have a lot more comfort on this one because the handles are pretty symmetrical as compared to this, where the handles are kind of odd. You get all the functionality of that compound leverage on those pliers. You've got inside accessible tools. File, which is horrible. This file's a waste too. I don't know why. Come on, SOG, get your stuff together. Your file's useless. The saw is good. Flathead's good. This awl, awesome. And then they have a micro screwdriver for glasses and stuff. I'm not super sure about that. I feel like that was a little bit of an afterthought. I'm not sure how many people carry a multi-tool like this dedicated for the fact that it's got a glasses screwdriver. You'd probably be more apt to find something, I don't know, a little bit more useful than that, but who knows? I mean, maybe this is used for other things than glasses. I've never found a use case for something like that other than glasses, but I don't wear glasses anymore, so LASIK for the win. Those are the inside accessible. Now, outside accessible tools, you've got a knife, which are all locking. Still soft steel, but they all lock. A couple of other tools here. I'll have to use this sympathetic pull here on these guys. All decent tools. I think the steel is a little bit better than what's on here. I've used this screwdriver quite a bit, and it's held up pretty well. It also has a standard 1/4 inch hex bit holder here. So if you wanted to put a normal driver bit in there, let's say that it doesn't have whatever you need, doesn't have a Phillips or flathead or something that you can use, and you need to use a hex screwdriver, you could just put a normal bit in there and use it, which is a nice touch. So I would say this is probably one of SOG's better quality multi-tools. And there's something about this case that's just really satisfying. It's got this like elastic rubbery thing, but it just feels nice. It stays on the belt really nice. The only downfall is I have scratched so much stuff. This being exposed and being on my hip, I'll scrape my car. I can't tell you the amount of paint chips that I've pulled off of my own vehicle with this thing. But it's very satisfying, very sturdy. Definitely not gonna, you know, be an issue with quality on that sheath. That thing is great. Maybe they should have covered the bottom, because if you love your vehicle, do not carry this on your hip. That's for sure. What else do we have? We've got a couple of different types here. So I've got some, I would say they're full-size multi-tools, but they're plier-less multi-tools for the most part. So I've got a Wenger Ranger, and then I've got the Victorinox Hercules. So this was one of my first Victorinoxes, actually. It's like the Super Champ in a way, but it's a much bigger platform. So this is your standard Swiss Army knife. You can see that this is way bigger, quite a bit heavier duty, but still a non-plier central type multi-tool. Blade on this, standard Swiss Army. I also use this quite a bit. Standard Swiss Army blade style, but this thing is awesome. Great for camping, for food prep. It does have a lock. I've used the heck out of this too. These do have pliers, but they're more tweezers. Let's be honest. Those pliers aren't going to do anything. Unless you got to, you know, pick up super tiny nuts and bolts or something, but those are more tweezers than they are pliers. They do come with tweezers still, per usual with Swiss Army. So you have that. You've got saw, which, if any of you know, Swiss Army Victorinox saws are awesome. They're amazing. This would be good for probably like a more bushcrafty style build out. It's got tons of tools on here. Close the knife because I will cut myself. Got great scissors. Victorinox scissors are awesome. As in my EDC video, you'll know that I use the Victorinox scissors actually for cutting my nails and stuff. So they're fantastic. They're screwdrivers, always fantastic. Everything is shaped well, finished well, super comfortable. Corkscrew, believe it or not, that's actually come in handy quite a bit as well. And then you've got standard awl, probably one of the best awls in the business. So yeah, so go here. So this is a full-size multi-tool, right? I mean, that's a big, you're not going to want to toss that in your pocket. But some people don't need all this, but they want the capability of this, right? So this is kind of where this Ranger comes in. So this is even a step bigger from the Victorinox is the Wenger. So this is the Ranger Evo grip. This is a very knife forward blade. Beautiful shape. This knife blade shape is awesome. It locks. It actually has a liner lock, but the way you unlock it is just push the logo in and it pushes the liner lock over and you can close it. But this is more of like a tool core, right? So you don't have all the accessory tools. You've got your can opener, bottle opener, flathead screwdriver. One hell of a saw. I mean, this thing is a beast. And then you do have the Phillips head screwdriver in the back as well. With and all. This all's fine. Not as pointy. I mean, it's pointy, but it's kind of rounded at the tip. I don't know if you'll be able to catch that, but it's a little rounded. It's not quite as sharp as the Victorinox, but man, this would be a great bushcraft tool. It's got a nice full-size blade, which is easy for feather sticking. This saw, again, probably the best pocket folding saw. I think the only thing that would rival this might be the Open L folding saw, the pocket saw, and then the larger folding saws that you see a lot kind of floating around. But man, in terms of pocket saws, I have not found something better and more capable than this pocket saw. Just in terms of just general length, so it's actually thinner up the top than it is at the teeth, which is pretty cool. I think that's one of the features in a more woodsman focused multi-tool. But Okay, so you've got this side of things, but Victorinox also makes a very full-size multi-tool platform with all the same features and stuff and quality that you see in the Hercules, and that's in the Swiss tool. This was one of my first offerings from Victorinox that was not a standard Swiss Army knife. Now, up front, this has by far the best fit and finish of any multi-tool in my collection, any multi-tool I've ever handled, held. I mean, this one's $200 now. This one, can't remember exactly what the price is. Probably think it floats around the 180. Don't quote me. But the fit and finish on this thing is just unreal. Unreal. It is it feels so good. I played with this so much. But it has all the standard tool sets as the Hercules, right? All the quality in the tools, full size Phillips, all flathead screwdriver, tiny one. File is great. I've used this file quite a bit. Your serrated blade, pen blade. I mean, I don't find too much use for this, but I usually use it to open up boxes and stuff because I don't want to dull my my standard blade through the tape. Got a saw. Again, Victorinox saws are awesome. It doesn't quite rival the Wangers. I mean, that extra length definitely matters. Sorry to say it, fellas, but it does. It makes a huge difference in terms of just cutting power. Pen blade, flathead screwdrivers, bottle openers. I think they call this a pry tool or chisel or something along those lines. It's fine. I would definitely use it for maybe paint cans at most, but you're not gonna want to do proper prying with that. The pin construction of this multi-tool, it's just rivets and pins. There's no adjustments. I do have the Night Eyes pocket clip on here, which was a game changer for this. It's been on here for probably 10 years. So if you ever wondered if these clips work, they do. And they stick very well, very comfortable. The only complaint I have is spring on this is pretty weak. They do have some additional attachments for some stuff to go in there. But overall, a fantastic multi-tool. I do have a couple of kind of more collection based. So I was on the lookout for an old Leatherman multi-tool for, I don't even know how long, probably 15 years, maybe a little less, called the Leatherman Side Clip. Talking about pocketable multi-tools, right? So a handful of these could be pocketable. I would say this is pocketable, this is pocketable, these are pocketable. I think the Leatherman Skeletool is one of the more well-known pocketable multi-tools. I do have the hammer on there as well. You can buy that aftermarket. Does not come with the tool. So there are definitely some great pocketable multi-tools here. I have never had a multi-tool quite like the Leatherman Side Clip, and it took me 15 years to find it. Finally found it on eBay for a good price. Leatherman, bring this back. Please bring this back. This thing is so slim in pocket. It's just near perfect everyday pocket multi-tool. You've got the proper classic Leatherman plier. You've got all the classic Leatherman tools. It's not jam-packed with tools, but they've got everything you need. Got a pocket knife, flathead screwdrivers, probably more than you need. I don't know why every multi-tool has 4,000 flatheads, but to each his own. It's a good multi-tool. None of these tools lock. Well, actually, they do lock, but they don't have like a separate lock. It's more of one of those classic slip joint locks. So they kind of snap into place, but they don't really lock. All slip joint, but man, this tool is awesome. It just disappears in the pocket. Leatherman needs to bring this back. Maybe a couple of adjustments, make the knife a little longer. I don't know why the knife couldn't be a little bit longer. But the shape is awesome. This is, I believe it's standard for 420HC, which is still pretty standard. Keeps an edge, very good utility knife, all USA made. Smooth, and this thing is old, but man, Leatherman, please bring this thing back. This is awesome. Speaking of bringing things back, I found a collector's edition pocket survival tool from Leatherman. This is the Leatherman kind of OG final multi-tool. I found this at a really great price. Same kind of platform. You can see the similar platform. Pliers are a little different. Handles are a little bit different, but generally the same platform as that. A little thicker. It's got a little bit better tool set on here, but all the quality is there without question. All that quality. Beautiful knife blade. Again, more flat heads than you possibly know what to do with. Good file. Got kind of that 3D Phillips head, which is great. All slip joint, non-locking blade tools, but this one, this is a collector's edition, collector thing. I don't plan on using this. I think multi-tools have come a long way from this. If they could do this tool, but with this pocket clip, I think they would sell out. I think most people would, because you can see how I was talking about that blade length. They fixed that problem here. I think the tool set's better on this. The pliers are better. They're a little more durable. They could toss that pocket clip on the original PST and bring that back as a new side clip. They'd sell out. For sure, they'd sell out. They have one similar, the Wingman side clip stuff, or side, I think it's a side kick, actually. Something like that, but they're just not the same. They're the cheaper versions, even though they're expensive now. They're not these Leathermans. There's a class of Leatherman. The lower end is, won't even touch them. But this OG Leatherman stuff is amazing quality. I know I talk about Leatherman a lot, Victorinox a lot, but there are some other options. These are just kind of the big names in the game because they've been around for so long. They're proven. They're well known. I mean, I've abused some of these. I've broken some. But you've got some cheaper options. I don't know if this is a cheaper option, but Gerber, this is the MP600. This is the military plier. So most of the pliers are, as you can see, kind of like butterfly style. But these are all slide style. All USA made. Little rattly and makes a lot of noise, and these are plastic. These locks are plastic. Not a huge fan of that, but honestly, they haven't really, there hasn't gone anything wrong. This is my dedicated vehicle multi-tool for any of the small mechanical things that I need on the road. We do overland and stuff in the Jeep, and I have had to use this fairly often when just kind of doing that, but in terms of just quick access plier and just general durability, these things are awesome. Pretty fiddly. The only thing, these are supposed to be able to be flicked out. I always struggle with flicking them out. I just end up just grabbing the two sides and dropping. But they're very slim, have good reach, strong, good quality. The big downfall here is all the tools are really short. Because of the mechanism, all these tools are kind of short and stubby, and you have to open the plier to get them. And since it's not a, the lanyard loop tool, the tools are good. The serration is good. The serrated knife, all the tools, they all lock. And if you wanted some added security, you could actually close the plier. They all lock. The only downfall is that's kind of awkward, right? I mean, your center of gravity, I guess, not your center of gravity, but this kind of the center point is odd. Like having that kind of like that, and I don't know. It works great. The quality is fantastic. Just kind of feels awkward. My biggest gripe, honestly, with this tool, why? Just why? Put a real knife in there. That the grind on this is basically chisel. I mean, it is so thick behind the edge. Yeah, it's pointy and it's really sharp, but you can't even cut an apple with this. What? I mean, it's so stubby and short. I mean, this is the smallest usable multi-tool I have. Okay. Look at the size multi-tool difference. Longer knife blade. What? Seriously, Gerber, fix this. If you can make that a real blade, this tool is actually really, really good. The quality is nice. It's very smooth. Definitely feels US quality. Got your crimpers, your cutters, your plier. I mean, it's just, I would say this would rival this to me. And I would actually choose this over this in many applications. Fix the blade. It just, why is it round? Like it sticks, why? I don't know. I could complain about that all day. Other than that, this thing is great. The quality is so good. Most Gerber multi-tools are garbage. I've tried a handful of them. They are all very cheap pot metal steels. They're just horrible. But this one, very good. I actually, probably one of the only Gerbers I like. This one, not even the same realm. Quality-wise, this feels like gas station, but this feels like USA. This feels like Leatherman made it. Aside from that stupid knife blade. Everything else, though, definitely recommend that if you're looking for something American-made, heavy-duty, and you carry a dedicated pocket knife, and you're just looking for a solid set of pliers. I think this is and a couple of extra tools, fantastic option. Some of you may be familiar with the brand Gonzo. This was a bit of a whim purchase. $8. I've had this for probably 5 years. It's my dedicated kitchen multi-tool. I keep it in the kitchen for random things. Very comfortable, all rounded, rather heavy, but it feels good. This is one of those multi-tools that you are not worried about just destroying because frankly it's $8. Steel is horrible, but the shape of the tools are good. Whatever this file is, useless. I mean, this is as smooth as a butter knife. There's no texture there. It looks like there is. There's not. That won't even, I mean, you barely scratch your nail on it. This is the most useless tool here. Everything else pretty useful. You've got, again, a billion small screwdrivers, flathead screwdrivers. The obsession with the flathead screwdriver continues. It did come with a second tool set that you kind of pop onto this thing, and you can use a driver bit and stuff on there, but I have no idea where it went. So that is more just kind of wasted space. Handles are all aluminum. You got little rubbery plastic inserts. But for $8, I think this is a great offering. Spring loaded. Got the external spring versus the internal spring like some of these other tools, but not bad. I bought, I think, 4 of these and they just kind of tossed them around, gave some away. But in terms of cheap multi-tools, pretty good. I would say, though, one of the best quality, fairly cheap multi-tools I've ever found is called Blackfire. I don't know exactly what model this is, but oh my gosh, this thing surprised me so much. And look at those pliers. Super long cutters. Now these are the anvil style cutters, so they kind of come down like just right on top of each other. They don't cross. But those pliers are hefty. They're thick, they're heavy, they work really well. They're long and kind of narrow. But I mean, look at the difference in that. Look at that. Now they're not needle nose by any means, but you've got all of the reach you could ask for. It's smooth. Zero play side to side. Even in Leatherman, you get some play. No, you don't, all external accessible tools. I mean, look at this thing. Gerber center drive? No way. Look at this. Swappable, full-sized, standard bits. The only downfall of this tool is it does not lock, but man, it snaps into place. This thing is awesome. I mean, just alone for these pliers, those cutters, and this, worth the tool. So much capability. This is a multi-tool bit kit, bit exchanger. You've got the Leatherman specific bit exchanger here, right? Which are great. I've got a lot of use on these guys. I think they're fantastic, but you're limited to just Leatherman. Full-sized, exchangeable. You wanted to, you could put your own bits in there. I mean, that is multi-tool perfection. I haven't even gotten to the knife blade. Look at that knife blade. Liner lock, thick blade, nice thick stock, cheap steel. I mean, you're probably talking 3R13 MOC or MOV steels. I mean, you're not talking super high end, but it's sharp. It's a good shape. It's hefty. That's a good blade. Even the other tools, kind of the all-in-one tools. I think this is meant to be a wire stripper, but it's just got like one sharp edge. It doesn't work all that well. But screwdriver, bottle opener, a dedicated square bit. I mean, where do you ever see a dedicated square bit? Definitely prefer this bit over Phillips, that's for sure. Got a tiny file on here. It's not super long, but it's effective. It actually has good texturing. It's got the crosshatch here and just the single hash here. I mostly use it for just kind of poking, prodding, and prying. I don't typically use this for the file, but it's there if you need it. And it does have a saw as well. Oh no, it doesn't. Never mind, I lied. That's the handle for the plier. But yeah, this probably one of the best, inexpensive, full-sized, heavy dude. I mean, I would put this in the same vein. That's a 300. That is massive. And this tool is just longer than it. And this is heavy duty stuff here. So this is an awesome full-size multi-tool. Rather inexpensive, good quality, aluminum handles. Can't beat this. I mean, this thing is just awesome. Great, great budget option. So this is pretty much, I do have some randoms kind of floating around. There's pretty much my collection of multi-tools. So which one would I pick if I could only choose one? Right? I mean, that's always the question. Well, if I had that direct answer, I would only have that one. If I was looking to replace my pocket knife, which I will never do, if I was looking to replace just it and have just a multi-tool with a knife on it, I would choose this. I think that blade's going to hold up a lot longer. It's got the Leatherman quality. Everything's there. Tool set's good. Right? But that's probably over $200 by now. I'm not looking to thump on something like that. So could you go with the Wave as a good replacement? 420HC is fine. A lot of people, this would be their end all be all, this or its larger variant of the Surge. But it's not a bad tool, right? It's a good tool. If I was looking for end of world, I mean, I'm going 300. Leatherman 300, it's got the quality, it's got the size, it's got the strength, it's got the capability, proven style, proven build. I mean, end of world is this, but I'm not carrying this every day. That's massive. I'm a work from home kind of person. I do computer stuff, project manager. Like I definitely do not need to carry this. Have I carried this? 100%. But since I also carry a firearm, that's a lot of weight on my belt. Collection stuff. These two multi-tools, they're mostly for my collection. I don't ever plan on really using these. I'd be afraid to break this because it's took me 15 years to find it. And this is collector's edition. I mean, it's a limited edition for a reason. It says it right there on the tool, limited edition. I'm not looking to destroy this thing. This is going to just stay in its beautiful little sheath. Have I carried it? Yes, I have carried it. Felt guilty right away. This was also an expensive tool because of limited edition. But, you know, bushcraft stuff, this is amazing. If I was just doing field stuff, going out there, working with the wood, bushcrafty, you know, haversack style, definitely going with that. It's a great tool. You got the Wenger, all Swiss Army style, comparable to Victorinox for sure. Coin pocket, I'm obviously going to go something like this or even just the SD Classic. You can't go wrong. If you got to do something that's non-locking slip joint, anything Swiss Army of this nature. This is a Super Tinker, but there's a million different variations. You want all USA made, but kind of military grade. Well, this is military grade. This is military multi-tool. It was issued for a long time. It might actually still be issued to this day. They do have a variant where they have replaceable wire cutters, but I think you have to actually be active military for that. I am not, nor have I ever been, so I did not have access to that one. But other than that, it's the same tool. The only difference is the replaceable wire cutters. You know, but if let's say you have a vendetta against Gerber and Leatherman, I mean, you have all these other inexpensive options. Or SOG. I mean, you like SOG knives, you're a fan of them. Their multi-tool, this multi-tool's fine. It's full size. They have a couple of other versions. I haven't played around with those. But yeah, so want a toolkit in your pocket? Well, multi-tool it up. I've yet to find the end-all be-all for multi-tools. I think there's a lot of options. There's a lot of cool things coming out these days that's possible. It's going to, you know, they're going to have that perfect multi-tool in the next few years, but as of now, frankly, there just isn't one perfect multi-tool. Unlike my perfect pocket knife, the multi-tools are still in progress. I think there's some work to be done, even though there are some great multi-tools. Definitely some work to be done. So here you go. My multi-tool collection, kind of some thoughts around that. If you have any specific questions, I mean, I appreciate you hanging around. I think we're at 49 minutes right now, so you must really love multi-tools like I do to sit around that long. So this is our conversation. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.